So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Steam Deck and if you can play zombies on it. And newsflash, you can, and it performs pretty freaking well. Let's jump straight into it. I see oftentimes online that people do not want to build PCs, and especially now, custom zombies is getting more and more popular day after day. In fact, Black Ops 3 was literally in the top 10 best-selling games on Steam, for a good reason. Custom zombies is amazing. I'm going to be making a full-on video talking about why I think it's the future. Stay tuned for that video going into the future. But today I wanted to hone in on the Steam Deck, because a lot of people have an excuse that they don't want to build a PC. But I think this Steam Deck right here is the best way to jump into zombies if you want to get the PC gaming type experience here. So here we are on the Steam Deck. I've hooked up to my Elgato here, so I'm getting some footage here. I'm going to be testing out a couple games. I'm going to be testing out Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and Black Ops 3, also using the Boy client. So I wanted to test these games out because I wanted to show you guys how these perform. So without further ado, let's jump into Black Ops first. Alright, so we're loading into Black Ops here. See right here, let's actually go to the settings. Settings here, graphics. As you can see, I'm actually playing this at 1440, that's what it says. But I'm going to turn this down to the Steam Deck's native resolution of 1280 by 800. Since I'm not playing this on a traditional sort of mode, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to have black bars on the sides, but it is what it is. So this is what the native resolution would actually look like on the Steam Deck. Of course, it's going to be upscaled inside the game, but wait, let's jump into zombies. We're going to play some Kino der Toten, of course, because it's a classic. The best zombies map of all time. Kino der Toten Black Ops 1. Alright, so we're on Kino der Toten Black Ops 1. This is the performance we're getting. We can actually throw up the FPS overlay here to actually see the performance we're going to get on this. So, okay, so as you can see, it's a pretty much rock solid 60 frames per second. And since Black Ops is like over a 10-year-old game, it kind of makes sense that its performance is good because, I mean, this game is old. And from my knowledge, it's actually possible to get this to work with Plutonium. I'm not too sure how it works. It'd actually probably be easier to get a separate install of Windows to play certain games with certain clients. But the base Black Ops 1 experience is perfectly playable. It's decently optimized for PC, and you could probably do some binds in the config file to actually increase your FOV or increase your FPS. But 60 FPS is perfectly good for a little handheld device. So, yeah, here is Kino der Toten Black Ops 1. It's looking pretty good. Performance is pretty great at native res. It'd actually be better if you're playing on the actual screen, but I'm playing on a monitor right now. It seems to be doing a pretty good job. So, yeah, that is Black Ops 1. I should have died right there, but whatever. Let's move on to Black Ops 2. Alright, here we are on Black Ops 2. Let's actually just jump into a match of Transit. Or, let's actually jump into a match of Town. But on Hellhounds, because, I mean, I'm probably not even going to be doing this that long. I'm just going to be showing you guys the performance you can get on this. Alright, so here we are on Town. As you can see, we are getting 60 frames per second locked, which is always a good thing to see. And let's actually take a look at the graphics settings here. See, we have texture quality on extra, texture filtering on high, everything else is on high. I just don't have any anti-aliasing on because that's a personal preference of mine. You can actually turn up the FOV all the way up to 90 here, and you're still pretty much getting a locked 60 frames per second, which is always good to see. Alright, let's hit the box, see if we can get something interesting before I end this off. So, give me a second. Had to add the bind for that. There we go. Whoa, the foul. So yeah, Black Ops 2 on the Steam Deck performs absolutely phenomenal. Right out of the box, I'm not even using a specific version of Proton at all. It just works right out of the gate. So I assume they're using Proton Experimental as default. But yeah, 60 frames per second, max settings at native resolution. Very, very good. Alright, so now on to Black Ops 3. So I'm basically going to be using multiple versions of Black Ops 3. I'm going to be using the base Black Ops 3 client. I'm also going to be using the Boy client, which also works on the Steam Deck with Proton, and it works pretty flawlessly, in my opinion. So yeah, we're going to be checking this out. And just to keep this in mind, I actually installed Black Ops 3 on an SD card. I'll recommend this SD card down in the description because it's actually some pretty good value, and it performs pretty well for my tasks, and it works pretty well. It's a Samsung Evo something. I don't think it's that one, but it is a Samsung SD card. So there we are. We're already loading into the game. There is some stutters, of course, because it's Black Ops 3. It's always laggy on the first start. I don't even know why they haven't fixed that, but oh well. And as you can see, this is the flaw of Black Ops 3's base client. As you can see, the FPS in the menu is just atrocious because of the DLC timetable issue that they never fixed, which is why the Boy client is so necessary, first of all. Gosh, that's annoying. And it gets exacerbated since I'm also using an SD card, which is not ideal, to say the least. But what are you gonna do? All right, so we're gonna go on Shoot House. Shoot House is an absolutely gorgeous map. I'm gonna be probably making a video playing this map because my goodness, it is amazing. The stuff that custom mappers do, it is just amazing. These guys are literally top tier, on par with Treyarch in terms of quality. You cannot at me with that. It is 100% true. The custom zombies disrespect needs to stop, okay? It needs to stop, because y'all are false. Alright, and as you can see right here, my FPS is currently locked at 40 Hertz. There's actually a reason for this, and it makes a lot of sense if you use the Steam Deck in particular. It's the best way of playing the game. Okay, so these are my settings. 1280 by 800, setting the max frames per second to 40. I find that 40 Hertz works pretty freaking well on the Steam Deck. It just works really well. If we hit advanced here, and as you can see on the settings, I keep all the texture settings and stuff on high. Extra causes a weird black screen issue. I think it has something to do with the VRAM. But high is good enough, especially on a smaller screen. You won't really notice a difference in texture resolution, so I wouldn't worry about that. Keep the shadow map quality on medium, and honestly, I turn off order independent transparency, because it's really unnecessary. It's kind of that volumetric lighting that the game has. If you want to keep it on, you can, especially if you're using the Boy client. It makes more sense when you're using that. But base Steam Black Ops 3, I just keep that off, if I'm being honest with you, and I keep dynamic shadows on, ambient occlusion medium, and these are my settings. So let's click apply here. Here we are. As you can see, this is Shoot House, and it's performing flawlessly. The thing about Black Ops 3 is that in-game, like if you're in-game using the base Steam client, it works just fine. You know, you're not experiencing those massive freaking stutters, which is good. A really enjoyable experience. And it gets better if you actually play in completely offline modes. If you're on the go, it'll actually perform even better, which is why I think it's perfectly playable on the base client, though I think Boy is a better overall experience because you get more customizability with that as well. So as you can see, 40 frames per second is performing quite well here. It's performing great. So especially if you're just using the base in-game frame rate cap, you'll notice some stuttering, maybe a little bit. It's some weird issue with the screen and stuff, but you get smoother inputs. If you turn on VSync, it tends to feel kind of input laggy, so I just worry about that. So yeah, this is base Black Ops 3 running on the Steam Deck on a pretty graphically intensive map considering how gorgeous this is. Yeah, base Black Ops 3 is perfectly playable. And in fact, a lot of the base zombies maps perform even better than custom maps. So this is kind of a baseline. You're going to be experiencing great performance on the other ones. So let's test out the Boy client. Alright, so onto the Boy client. It's actually really easy to install this stuff. Essentially how it works just like the PC version, where you essentially go to the root directory, you install Boy, you drag the exe into it, and it basically works. But what you have to do when you do that, you have to right click on the exe and then add to Steam. And once you add it to Steam, it'll be added into your Steam library, so it'll look like this after you boot back into handheld mode. So then you want to go to properties, and right here, I turn my game resolution to 3840 by 2160 because it allows you to select more options for your internal resolution if you want to mess with that. And then in the launch options here, you want to type in /launch, which essentially bypasses the sort of launcher area, which is kind of necessary for this. And for compatibility, it should just work with Proton Experimental. It works just fine. So without further ado, let's launch Boy. Alright, so here we are on the Boy client. As you can see in the menu now, you have a locked 40 frames per second the vast majority of the time. As you can see, if once this loads in, you're golden. No more frame rate lag, no stuttering, no anything, and it works absolutely flawlessly. Bring it back down to native res here. With the Boy client, I find you can actually increase the settings a little bit, so we can actually throw on volumetric lighting, turn that on, and you'll get the locked 40 frames per second in pretty much any mode you play, which is just amazing. The client is just the best thing you can install on Black Ops 3 here. And keep in mind, all of this is installed on a 512 gigabyte SD card, so this is just fantastic here. For this one, let's actually play Call of the Dead Remastered. Another fantastic custom zombies map that released within the past year. Great, absolutely gorgeous map. Really excited for the Die Rise Remaster in transit. They'll be coming out within the next year as well, which is pretty great. Alright, here we are on Call of the Dead Remastered. We actually have some motion blur on now, which will actually make the sort of frame rate look a lot smoother. It's something with the Boy client. This is what's really cool. You have access to the developer console. So what we can do, we actually do r_motion blur strength. You can essentially adjust the motion blur strength here. So we're going to drop this to around 0.5. So we'll basically cut the amount of motion blur in half and make it feel more sort of like not as bad, so we can actually see. As you can see now, a weird thing about Black Ops 3 is that the lower the frame rate, the more intense the motion blur is. So once you turn that down, you can actually adjust how much motion blur you want. For some reason, this wasn't in the base Black Ops 3 game, but they unlocked it here, and it makes a pretty big difference, honestly. Especially if you're playing in handheld mode at 40 Hz, it is just perfect for that, and it makes the game feel way smoother. So yeah, as you can see, locked 40 frames per second at decent settings. And it looks pretty great as well, even on the screen. You know, of course, this is not full HD, but it is completely playable. And it's just really convenient, because you can play custom zombies on the go. And you have some decent battery life, too. I mean, an hour, 50 minutes, that's not too bad, to be completely honest with you. You can actually extend that as well if you lower your settings, or, you know, figure out a different frame rate or whatever. But, yeah, this is the Steam Deck. Playing COD Zombies. Can you do it? Abso-freaking-lutely. It is perfect for custom zombies. A lot of people don't want to go and build a PC, and I think that this is a completely viable alternative that will offer a great experience for people who want to play custom zombies on the go. It is just absolutely fantastic here. Couldn't recommend it enough. Honestly, you can just get the base model and just put in a micro SD card and you'll be going. You'll be absolutely going places. It is great stuff. I'll link you guys to some good SD cards you can actually use for Black Ops 3. All of them tend to work as long as they're above the speed of like a normal hard drive. You should be good. And this is just proving that you don't need a full-blown gaming PC to play custom zombies and enjoy custom zombies on the go as well. This thing is fantastic. You can hook it up to an external display. You can hook it up to a computer. You can hook it up to a TV and play with a dock. I'm actually using the dock right now, and it's just perfectly adequate here. So, yeah, hope you all enjoyed this custom zombie / Steam Deck video. If you guys want to see some other zombies videos going into the future, make sure to drop a like. And, as always, I hope you all have a wonderful day.